Good evening. This regular city council meeting is called to order. It is July 20th, 2020. It is 7 p.m. Director Van Vleck, would you call the roll?
Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
Councilmember Edgar.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Signify aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the consent agenda. These are routine items presented without discussion. Regular council meeting minutes of July 20th, 2020. Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission meeting minutes of May 14th and June 11th. Library Board meeting minutes of January 22nd, February 5th, February 18th, April 30th, and June 3rd. D, licenses, new and renewals submitted for August 3rd, 2020. Is there motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, that's Burns and Weiss. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carried. I don't believe we have elected officials or special presentations tonight. It's a short meeting because of the election coming up tomorrow. So we're down to item 12, ordinances. 12A is second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Oak Park zoning ordinance. Article 18, signs, section 1805, 1807, and 1814, that would correct reference errors and add regulations. Their motion to approve the second reading.
So moved.
That's Burns. And is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Weiss, thank you. Discussion or questions? Roll call, Director Van Vleck.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Item 12B is a second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Oak Park zoning ordinance, Article 17, general provisions, section 1709, outdoor dining that would allow for decorative lighting in outdoor dining uses. We need a motion to accept the second reading and adoption.
So moved.
That's thank you.
Seconded.
Was that Burns and
Edgar.
Edgar? Thank you. I can't see all the faces. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Weiss. And Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Item 12C under ordinances is a second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Oak Park zoning ordinance, R1, one family dwelling district, to address public and private recreation uses. This was, I believe, for the 9 Mile Park. Is there a motion to approve the second reading and adoption?
So moved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Burns, and is there a second?
Second.
Weiss, thank you. Is there discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
I
Yes.
couldn't get off of mute. I'm a yes also.
And Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Now we're on to D. This is second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend section 6242, chapter 62, article 2, division 1, burning, Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park, that would remove the broad prohibition against outdoor burning to allow portable outdoor fireplaces using clean woods and to require annual permits for campfires, open burning, or recreational fires as defined by the International Fire Protection Code. We need a motion for the second reading and adoption.
So moved.
Burns, thank
Second.
you. Radner, thank you. We, I believe, have questions, just clarification. Maybe City Manager Tungate, would you clarify what's okay and what's not okay in this ordinance?
Sure. I'm actually going to defer, though, Madam Mayor, to Courtney or Ebony to do that.
Madam Mayor, I would just like to bring council's attention to two changes that were made for the second reading per the discussion of council at the last meeting. The first change concerned the distance that was required from residential structures, which was increased to 25 feet per the recommendation of our fire marshal. We also changed the ability of technical and planning to enforce the ordinance. Technical and planning requested that discretion be vested solely with public safety. So we have made that change as well. Going forward in Oak Park, open burning will be allowed with the use of portable outdoor fireplaces without a permit. Residents that wish to engage in any other type of outdoor burning, including campfires or other forms of burning, will be required to obtain an annual permit from the Department of Public Safety and have an inspection to make sure that their burning is meeting all the requirements of our ordinance. And I believe we had discussed at the last meeting too that we were going to entertain perhaps a public notice on the website that set forth some concise highlights in terms of the ordinance revisions that allowed these two different areas of burning.
There was something about air quality, correct?
That's correct. There will be no no open burning of any type allowed on days when the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments has declared a ozone action day or an air quality alert day.
Okay, and then just clarify, if you buy a kit from Home Depot with bricks, you need to get a permit and get that one inspected. Is that correct?
If it is a portable outdoor fireplace,
No, I mean no, not the portable one.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
if I could just weigh in, if I believe you're referring to if it was part of a landscaping package, and if that were the case, it would have to follow the same requirements, the 25 feet separation between it and a nearby structure, and all of the other requirements for the open burning. Of course, the portable burning units the recommendation is going to be that people follow the manufacturer's guidelines.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
in regards to the ozone action days, are we prepared, and this may be a question for Jocelyn, but are we prepared to send out notification to residents when those days are occurring so that they know if they do open burn on those days that they can be fined for that?
See, Jocelyn, I don't know if you want to weigh in.
We will be, that's for sure. We will be prepared to do that. Are you, council member, are you referring to sending out individual letters or just to general promotion?
I mean, on the actual days. So if SEMCOG issues an ozone action day or an air quality alert day, will we be sending that on those days, sending notification through social media, email blasts, however we do, to let residents know that that's happening and not to have any outdoor fires on those days?
Yes, we will be prepared to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? this
Yeah,
week?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to ask about the time that we allow fires, either kind, I think. We allow them up to 1 a.m. Are we all right with that? I mean, 1 a.m. is late, and I don't know, I can see neighbors complaining about parties that go till that time, fires that are burning that late. Is this something we might want to just tweak a little bit, maybe push it down to midnight?
Councilmember, are you asking me or are you just posing it generally?
I'm just sort of posing it generally to the group. I mean, is 1 a.m., how did we choose that hour?
Courtney, are you?
That
No.
was based on what other neighboring communities have done. And there's also a statement in the ordinance that regardless of when you conduct your burning, it cannot be done in a manner that creates a nuisance to your neighbors. So I think that we're looking for residents to have a certain degree of discretion and making sure that they're not acting in a way that would disturb their neighbors when they're engaging in these activities.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions or discussion? No. Okay. Director Van Vleck, will you do a roll call, please?
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. This is to put the city in line with what's actually happening on the ground. A lot of people have the portable ones, the portable fire pits, and are using them and had no idea that there was a law against it. Down the road, if pollution gets bad, we can revisit this. We can revisit any ordinance at any time. So if there are more issues that come up, we can adjust. The next thing on the agenda, city attorney. I think we've heard from you on this. City manager, Eric Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I have 14A as a request to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Burns as the council representative to the library board.
Mhm.
We had not finalized this, and I wanted to make sure that we did so.
Wonderful. Do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Yes. Is there a motion to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Burns as our council representative?
So moved.
Okay, that's
Seconded.
Weiss. And who was the second?
Edgar?
Edgar, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Burns for joining this group. This group's in great shape now, and we look forward to wonderful things happening. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I'm going to have Director Maroney speak to 14B, but before she does, I did want to give you, it's not on the agenda, but I did want to give a quick update. We are all, regarding the election, we are all set for the election. There are approximately 100 masks that will be supplied to each precinct for folks who may come and do not have a mask and aren't prepared for that. But as of right now, we obviously are receiving a ton of absentee ballots, but for all intents and purposes, we believe that we're as ready as we possibly can be for whatever may come tomorrow. So once I know the outcome, I'll be sharing that information with the public.
So it's possible, given all of the absentee ballots and the time it takes to open them, because they haven't been allowed to do the preliminary work ahead of time, that we won't find out Tuesday night. We might find out Wednesday morning, but it sounds like the elections will be safe. And a large majority of people have decided to vote absentee. You can still bring in your absentee ballot tomorrow on election day if you have it at home.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just wanted to interject on something you just said. I just want to clarify that I have no reason to believe that the Oak Park results will be delayed at all. So I fully expect those to be just like in other elections, other large elections that we've handled. So now on a countywide or statewide basis, that may be different. But as far as Oak Park is concerned, I expect those results just like normal.
Wow, that's great news. That's great news. We're smooth around here.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I have a quick question for tomorrow. For if people are, and just a point of clarification, if anyone still has their absentee ballot and they're returning it in tomorrow, just to make sure that they bring it to the clerk, not to their polling place. You only go to your polling place if you plan on voting in person at your polling place. And then, as we discussed at the last meeting, if there's anyone who has their absentee ballot but decides they don't want to vote absentee, they want to vote on election day, they should bring their ballot with them to their poll and surrender it. If they don't have it, the clerk can do some verification that they didn't turn in a ballot, but it'll be a lot quicker and smoother if they're able to just surrender their ballot at the polling place. And then I did have a quick question. I know our clerks are busy. Our clerk is busy in our clerk's office and preparing for tomorrow. I don't have anyone on, but city manager, I don't know if you know the answer to this. If folks are bringing in their ballot kind of close to their absentee ballot, kind of close to the close of the polls tomorrow, is it still safe for them to put it in the box, or should they physically bring it into the building?
Boy, I don't know the answer to that. My just off the cuff recommendation would be to bring it into the building, because then you can at least ensure that it's there timeliness. So I'd have to inquire with the clerk's office.
Okay.
If I could, Madam Mayor, just on the election also, I just wanted to remind everyone that the city has 3 very important millage renewals on the ballot as well. And obviously I can't advocate that people vote a certain way, but I can say that these are straight renewals and we are not asking for a tax increase, but recreation, public safety, and our library, these are very, very important sources of revenue for each one of those departments. So those are very important for us. So as soon as I know, I will let the council know, and then of course the general public. I'm gonna skip down to 14B. Director Maroney, if you could walk us through this, it would be appreciated.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. In our Oprah policy that we currently have, it hasn't been amended and we're not sure how many years, but I know it was in existence when I came here over 6 years ago. And looking at the numbers that we base our evaluation on and approving these, the minimum investment that we're requiring is very low compared to what other communities are doing. So in meeting with City Manager Tungate, we have decided that we're bringing to council tonight some amendments to that to be more in line with today's economy. The changes are on page 5 under real property. It previously stated to receive a 6-year certificate, a minimum investment of $500,000. We are recommending that be increased to $1 million. And then on page 6, number 4, the additional 1 year that can be granted, instead of it being $250,000 for each increment of investment, we are increasing that to $500,000. We're noticing that because of the large amounts of investments that are coming into the community, that this is way more in line with what would be appropriate in granting tax incentives.
Okay. So you need a motion for this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So we need a motion to create and approve the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act policy.
So moved.
Thank you. Is that Radner?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. Discussion or questions?
And Madam Mayor, I have a question or
Please.
two. So about how many properties do we have in the city that are like this, that are a hazard and that are obsolete?
So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a hazard. The definition of an obsolete property is something that can no longer be used for what it was originally intended to, or it's blighted. Our assessor has to make a determination on whether the property qualifies.
Mhm.
Currently, I believe we have 3 properties that are under an OPRA. But we do have some inquiries going on as we speak.
So three properties now are getting the tax break. Three developers are getting the tax break because they're going into these structures that are otherwise obsolete.
Correct. The last 2 we granted were for Kroger. Being a big box store, those are pretty much obsolete these days, and the assessor felt it was appropriate to grant it. And then the second one before that was the Loop on Greenfield, which was previously Providence Green, which was severely blighted.
Mhm. And how many do we have in the city? I mean, how many approximately blighted properties are there in Oak Park?
I don't have an accurate number for you on that one. I'm sorry. I could get back to you though.
What is the approval process for this? Like how do these get approved for this tax incentive?
The process is pretty lengthy. You have to do a public notification to every property owner within 300 feet, do public hearings, and it has to be classified by our city assessor as being an obsolete property. And then it goes to council for approval with the public hearing. Then it goes to the state tax.
What was the third property? Kroger, the Loop, and which one?
The other name escapes me. It was prior to me being here.
So
property needs to be approved by council before it can receive this incentive.
Correct.
Council members, and Madam Mayor, if I could weigh in here just a moment, a little sidebar a little bit here, but years ago, I used to work in economic development as well. When I used to work for the MEDC, which is the state's economic development agency. And back in those days, the amount of economic development incentive programs that the state and locals had was just tremendous. And that has really diminished in recent years. And with our toolbox of things that we can offer, this is one of the few that's left for us to offer. And a lot of this went back to the MBT, and I won't go into all the stuff that went with that, but it's important to note that these changes make our program more conservative, not less, meaning you have to invest more, for example, to adhere to the changes we're recommending.
And so I understand this, you wouldn't just grant, I know it's 1 to 12 years, but for a developer who comes in wanting to do this and assuming that it's approved, you could start with 1 year, right? Start with 2 years, because what would prevent somebody from just coming in and flipping the property and the next owner enjoying a tax break for another 5 years? In other words, would we start small? Like, okay, you get a tax break for 3 years, and we'll see what your we'll tie it to your investment in the property, or would we start with 12 years?
Well, what the policy states is you're granted so many years based on what your investment is, how many jobs you're creating. And what we're doing is making them more stringent with this. When a developer goes in to develop a property, they create what's called a pro forma, where it puts all their financials in there, which we require as part of this review process to see if it's something we would even consider bringing to council. And you can't go back every year and ask for an extension. It's granted at the beginning for the set number of years, and then they can't come back and ask for more. So what you grant at the beginning is your only opportunity. That makes sense.
And per council member Edgar's question, if a developer were to sell it, wouldn't those taxes be uncapped anyway because there's a new owner? Or would that
No,
be They would be grandfathered in.
It gets transferred. So for instance, the loop on Greenfield was granted to the original property development company. And then they sold, I believe it was a year and a half ago. And we came back to council and asked for that incentive to be transferred to the new property owner. So council granted that and it was transferred to them.
So it just has to be approved.
Correct.
Okay.
And it was transferred to the new owner. Did the new owner have to enter some sort of an agreement to continue investment? How does that, why would it be transferred?
So the sale price is based on, you know, the income levels and the revenue that they're getting from the property. And if the tax incentive allowed them to either break even or to create a revenue stream for the development company with the tax incentive, then that's what helps to sell it. So you want to continue doing that. And it does require them, when they apply, to continue investing and maintaining the property. So when this company came in to purchase the loop, they did make some promises to the community that they would maintain it and continue in the manner it's been managed over the last few years.
Okay.
Kim, it doesn't open up the number of years that was approved on the initial though. So they
It does
can't
not.
open that back up. They're simply inheriting, in that case, the amount of years left.
Correct.
And just probably the property before the loop took it over, we were talking about condemning in such terrible shape. And it was a blight on the neighborhood. It attracted drug sales. It was a nuisance and a huge negative for the city. And to have that property be pristine does benefit the city and the residents.
Absolutely. And to your point, Mayor, if we would not have given them that incentive, the project would have never moved forward.
Right, right.
When I became the city manager in 2012, Madam Mayor, that property was the largest topic of conversation among the council at that time because it was such a problem for the city.
Chronic problem with crime, with.
It's beautiful now. It's really, the new owners really stepped up.
Yeah, they did.
Yep, they redid the pool, they redid the streets inside, they redid all the roofs, the doors, the windows, the hallways.
They demolished some buildings too.
I mean, the landscaping, they, I was pleased with what they did to flip the worst property in the city to one of the nicer ones. So it is a controversial, I think, issue. I think we all benefited from it.
Yeah, and that's the point of this incentive, is to turn a bad property into something that is going to increase property values across the city or within the immediate area.
And Madam Mayor, if I could say, I think the Kroger Oprah is the same circumstance. I think that we're going to benefit tremendously from that one as well.
Yeah.
That had been a vibrant a strip mall and then had just kind of gone to the dogs. And Kroger is going to turn it around and make it a property that we'll be proud to have in the city. They will attract other vendors, and it's part of our rebirth, I think. Is there anything further about this? I think we need a vote. Anything further before you vote? Director Van Vleck?
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
And carried, thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I just say two more things as part of the city report?
Absolutely.
One is, I just wanted to remind everyone that as of now, and this is in stone as of now, that the library will be opening to the public on a limited basis on August 10th. And there's going to be several programs established to grab and go, for example. And part of that is because our capacity of people in the library at any one time will be limited per the executive order. And then lastly, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, Madam Mayor. I know you turned 38 today, so I want
Yes, yes. Jack Benny and I are holding at 38. Thank you so much.
that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, I will limit my comments just to good night because of the election tomorrow. Please vote. Please make sure your friends and family vote. It's critical that we exercise our right to vote. Mayor Pro Tem Burns?
Wait, don't forget call to public, Madam Mayor.
Oh, do we, oh, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Call to the audience. Director Van Vleck, thank you.
So anyone who'd like to speak from the audience can use the raise your hand feature. It can be found on the right-hand side of your screen. If you have any trouble with that, you can use the reactions if you'd like, or the chat box.
Anyone? We're not hearing any audience participation. We can go back to Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Please go out and vote. Be safe. Good night.
Councilmember Edgar?
Thank you for joining us. And yes, vote. And I wanted to wish our councilperson, Regina Weiss, very good luck in the election tomorrow. It's very exciting. And I wanted to wish the mayor a happy birthday.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner?
Vote, vote, vote. If you don't vote, you can't complain. And if you want to be able to complain, you got to vote. In all seriousness, there are a lot of very important elections that are up tomorrow. And it's extremely important that we get out and vote. Everybody needs to vote. Please vote. Good night.
Thank you. Councilmember Weiss?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy birthday. Again, as everyone has already said, please vote tomorrow if you have not already done so. If you're holding onto that ballot till the very last minute, fill it out and get it in there. Don't wait. You have until 8 o'clock tomorrow to turn it in. But once that bell tolls, you can't turn it in anymore. So get it in as soon as possible. And also just a friendly reminder, if you are doing absentee, you can only vote for one party. So don't fill out for Democrat and Republican, one side or the other. And then plus the nonpartisan, which is judges and our millages that are up on there that you can vote on that side too as well. Good luck to all of the candidates who are running. And I certainly will be busy tomorrow on election day. So hope to have support of the community. Anyone has any questions about my campaign, you can email me at regina.a.weiss@gmail.com. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you. There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned.